Have you ever thought about what it would be like to put an entire era, a whole society, under a microscope? To see all its values, its conflicts, and its secrets just laid bare for everyone to see? Well, there was one writer who did exactly that for his time. He turned his pen into a kind of surgical tool to dissect the world around him, and that writer was John Galsworthy. So, picture this. Imagine you're walking through London in the early 1900s. This is a world of incredible, brand new wealth, but it's also a world of super rigid social rules. A world where your status, your power, your whole identity, really, is built on what you have, on your stuff. Everything you do is being watched, being judged. The house you have, the clothes you're wearing, even who you decide to marry, it's all just a statement about your property, about your place in the pecking order. Appearances aren't just important, they're everything. And this is the world that one of its sharpest observers became totally fascinated with. To really get Galsworthy, first you got to understand the society he was putting under that microscope. This was a world literally built on property, where a person's value was measured by what they owned. Galsworthy put his own upper-middle-class world right there on the page, and believe me, he did not pull any punches. See, this era, stretching from the late Victorian age into the Edwardian period, was basically run by a powerful class whose entire identity was tied up in ownership. It was a society obsessed with materialism, where family fortunes were built on property and your own personal dreams. Yeah, those often had to be sacrificed for what society expected of you. And right in the middle of all of it was a man quietly taking notes. So, who was this guy observing it all? Let's switch from the world he was writing about to the man himself, John Galsworthy. The fascinating thing is, he was born into this world of privilege, which gave him the perfect insider's perspective to critique it. Galsworthy wasn't just telling interesting stories. He was a social realist. His whole goal was to hold a giant mirror up to the England he knew and force it to take a long, hard look at itself. All the flaws, all the hypocrisy, everything. He just dove right into the dynamics of family, the tremors of social change, and the deep, unsettling hypocrisy he saw all around him. And his career was pretty remarkable. Born into money, he used that position to observe and write. In 1906, he kicks off his masterpiece, the Forsyte Saga. By 1932, his incredible storytelling skills earn him the Nobel Prize in Literature. He somehow managed to be a huge commercial success and a critical powerhouse, which is, let's be honest, a really rare thing for any artist. And look, you simply cannot talk about Galsworthy without talking about the Forsyte Saga. This is it. This is the work that cemented his legacy forever. So what is it? Well, at its heart, it's this massive, multi-generational story that follows one family, the Forsytes. Through 3 main novels and a few little interludes, Galsworthy tracks not just their lives, but the complete transformation of English society itself. I mean, it is an epic in the truest sense of the word. But, an epic story can sometimes feel a bit distant. And this is where Galsworthy's brilliance really shines. He grounds this huge saga in a conflict that is so personal, so relatable, and so deeply human. It's a clash between 2 completely different ways of looking at the world. And here's where it all becomes crystal clear. On one side, you've got Soames Forsyte. This guy is the living, breathing embodiment of his era's values. Property isn't just something he has, it's who he is. And on the other side is his wife, Irene. She represents everything those values try to crush: passion, freedom, the absolute need for a real emotional connection. Their struggle is the engine that drives the entire saga. It's incredible. So this intense conflict between Soames and Irene becomes the very lens through which Galsworthy puts society itself on trial. He digs into how that obsession with ownership just poisons everything it touches, from a marriage to a family to a person's own sense of what's right and wrong. But Galsworthy's critique wasn't just stuck on the pages of his novels. Oh no, he was also a hugely important playwright. He used the stage as this immediate, direct platform for social change, a place to force a live audience to face the uncomfortable truths of their time. Just look at that number. More than 19 plays, and every single one was like a sharp, focused missile aimed at a specific social injustice. For him, the theater wasn't about escaping reality. It was about debating it and waking people up. And onstage meant nothing was off-limits. His plays went after the biases in the court system, the brutal fights between bosses and workers, the crazy double standards that women faced. He used drama to show just how hollow all the social rules were, and he showed the human cost of that rigid world in real time. And get this, his work actually changed things in the real world. His 1910 play, Justice, showed such a brutal picture of the legal system's cruelty, especially its final act, where a man is slowly driven insane by solitary confinement. It wasn't a lecture, it was a gut punch for the audience. The play had such a profound effect on the Home Secretary at the time, a young guy named Winston Churchill, that it directly led him to pass actual prison reforms. Now that is the power of art to make a real difference. So, okay, Galsworthy wrote about a world that seems like it's a million years ago. But why does he still matter to us now? What's the legacy of the Forsytes here in the 21st century? When it comes right down to it, his work lasts because that central conflict he pinpointed is still totally with us. We live in a world that is just saturated with materialism, right? Where our status is so often measured by our possessions. Galsworthy's writing makes us stop and ask if our constant chase for more stuff comes at the cost of our own humanity. And that kind of leads us to the big final question, doesn't it? In our modern world of brands and influencers and net worth, are we still letting what we own define who we are? Just look around. Have the values of Soames Forsyte really disappeared, or have they just put on a new, more modern costume? It's really something to think about.